keeping up with our motto, let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure. Here we are with the remote teaching and learning process to bridge the gap. Happy learning, students. Hello, students. I, Miss Radhika Yadav, teaching at Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College, once again here with you, dealing with subject history of Standard 7, Chapter 2, India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj, Part 2. So in the previous video, Part 1, we had covered the topic Pal Dynasty, Chola Dynasty, Rashtrakuta Dynasty, Yadava Dynasty and Sultanate in the north. Now further topics we'll see in this video. So here we have the very first is the Vijayanagar Empire. So during the reign of Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq of Delhi, there were many revolts in south against the central power of Delhi. So from these revolts arose the formidable Vijayanagar and Bahamani kingdom. The brothers Harihar and Bukka from South India were Sardars in the service of the Delhi Sultanate. So Harihar and Bukka are two brothers who founded the independent kingdom of Vijayanagar. Harihar became the first king of the newly established kingdom, whereas Bukka was an able king and maintained diplomatic relations with the neighboring kingdom. So taking advantage of the instability in south during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, they found the kingdom of Vijayanagar in the south in 1336 CE. And Harihar was the first king of Vijayanagar, and Harihar was succeeded by his brother Bukka, and Bukka brought the region up to Rameshwar under his control. Hampi in today's Karnataka was the capital of this kingdom. So let's see more about Hampi. So Hampi is a UNESCO World Heritage Site located in East Central Karnataka. It was the capital of Vijayanagar Empire in 14th century, and Hampi was a prosperous, wealthy and a grand city near the Tungabhadra river with numerous temples, farms and trading markets. Next we have is the Krishnadev Raya. So as we know that Krishnadev Raya was an emperor of the Vijayanagar Empire who reigned from 1509 to 1529. He was the third ruler of Tuluva dynasty and considered to be its greatest ruler. He possessed the largest empire in the India after the decline of the Delhi Sultanate. So as we said, Krishnadev Raya ascended the throne of Vijayanagar in 1509 CE and he conquered Vijayawada and Rajmahendari and annexed the regions to his kingdom. He defeated the combined forces of the armies of the sultans who had united under the leadership of the Bahamani Sultan Mahmud Shah. So during the Krishnadev Raya's reign, the kingdom of Vijayanagar extended from Cuttack in the east up to Goa in the west and from the Raichal Doab in the north up to the Indian Ocean in the south. And he died in 1530 CE. Krishnadev Raya was a scholar. He wrote Amukta a Telugu compendium on polity. So what is Amukta is? So Amukta is an epic poem in Telugu composed by Krishnadev Raya, and Amukta translated to a garland of pearls. It describes the story of wedding of the Lord Vishnu. The Hazaram temple and Vittal temple were built in Vijayanagar during his reign. So the Hazaram temple is an important shrine in Hampi. The temple is dedicated to Lord Rama. The temple is famous for the lovely base and panels depicting the story of the Ramayana. The decline of the Vijayanagar kingdom began with the death of Krishnadev Raya in 1565 CE at Talikot. In the present state of Karnataka, there was a battle between Adil Shahi, Nizam Shahi, Qutub Shahi, Barid Shahi on one side and Vijayanagar on the other side. Vijayanagar was defeated. Thereafter, the dominance of Vijayanagar came to an end. Next we have is Bahmani kingdom. So while Muhammad bin Tughlaq was still running, some of his sardars in the Deccan rose in rebellion against him. The leader of these sardar, Hassan Gangu, defeated the army of the Sultan of Delhi. A new kingdom known as Bahmani kingdom came to existence in 1347 CE, and Hassan Gangu became the first sultan of the Bahmani kingdom. He made the city of Gulbarg in Karnataka his capital. Next we have is Mahmud Gawan. So Mahmud Gawan was a wise scholar and great administrator. He improved the administrative system, reformed the revenue system and a disciplined army. So as I said, Muhammad Gawan was the chief wazir of the Bahmani kingdom. Chief wazir is nothing but the prime minister, and he brought discipline in the army. He introduced many reforms in the land revenue system. He paid his soldiers salaries in cash instead of through land grants. So after the death of Mahmud Gawan, factionism increased among the Bahmani sardars, and the conflict with the Vijayanagar kingdom had an adverse effect on the Bahmani kingdom. The provincial governors began to act more independently. This led to the disintegration of the Bahmani kingdom into 5 small powers, and those powers are Imad Shahi of Varhad, Barid Shahi of Bidar, Adil Shahi of Bijapur, Nizam Shahi of Ahmednagar, and Qutub Shahi of Golconda. Now students, what is provincial governors? So provincial governors is like some provinces which are independent or had their own kings. They always wanted their power and autonomy, and to have their autonomy they cooperated with those who allowed them to have their power and autonomy. So basically they don't follow any rules and regulations. They basically are the kings who always wanted their powers and autonomy. That is called provincial governors. Next we have is a Mughal power. So in 1526 CE, the Sultanate of Delhi came to an end. Mughal power was established there. Next we have is Babur. So Babur was the founder of Mughal power. He was the king of Fargana in Central Asia in today's Uzbekistan. He had heard of the wealth in India, so he planned an invasion of India. The reigning Sultan of Delhi at that time was Ibrahim Lodi. Daulat Khan Lodi was the governor of Punjab under the Sultanate. The relationship between Ibrahim Lodi and Daulat Khan Lodi was strained. Daulat Khan Lodi invited Babur to march on India. Taking this opportunity, Babur invaded India. To repel Babur's invasion, Ibrahim Lodi started with his army, and there was a battle between Ibrahim Lodi and Babur on 21st April 1526 at Panipat. So we'll see here the first battle of Panipat between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi. So Battle of Panipat took place on 21st April 1526. The first Battle of Panipat was fought between the invading forces of Babur and Ibrahim Lodi, and it took place in North India and marked the beginning of the Mughal Empire and the end of Delhi Sultanate. So this is known as the first Battle of Panipat. After the Battle of Panipat, Rana Sanga of Mewar brought all Rajput kings together. There was a battle between Babur and Rana Sanga at Kanua. Babur's artillery and reserve force played a key role in this battle, and Rana Sanga's army was defeated, and Babur died in 1530 CE. Next we have is Akbar. So Akbar was the most powerful king of the Mughal dynasty. When he tried to bring India under his central authority, he had to face oppositions. Maharana Pratap, Chand Bibi, Rani Durgavati struggled against him. Their struggle is noteworthy. So here we have Maharana Pratap. So after the death of Uday Singh, Maharana Pratap ascended the throne of Mewar. He continued the struggle for Mewar's existence. Till the very end, he struggled with Akbar to maintain his independence. He has become immortal in history due to his qualities of valor, courage, self-respect, sacrifice, etc. Thank you, students.